Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Ordinance and Policy Committee. Today is April 24th, 2024. Present today, we have Councilman Klent and Councilman Schramm. We have Code Enforcement Officer Dan Furness, Public Works Director Troy Kruger, Public Safety Commissioner Justin Day, and City Attorney Paul Jensen. We have, it looks to be an agenda of about 4 or 5 items. I'll turn it over to Mr. Jensen to work through with council.
Thank you. First of all, if you look at the first page is Ordinance 1076. You've seen this one prior, but we came back and retooled it a little bit. I was asked to limit the new provision to the right-of-way within Highway 18. Since the main concern there, at least I shouldn't say the main concern, but the large impetus of the concern was the red concrete along the new Highway 18. Those tend to be susceptible to damage by vehicles driving on and parking on them. And the state and the city have a contract whereby the maintenance of those and repair if necessary become the obligation of the city, and the city is obligated to take reasonable measures to protect that. And so that's the purpose of what started this process of making the amendment in front of you. So this would provide that no vehicle can be parked along within the platted right-of-way where any of the vehicle's tires are parked on the area between the curb and the sidewalk, whether it's grass, gravel, colored concrete, or other material. Please notice that, because I know somebody asked me about this yesterday, this does not include the area where it is actually a cutout for a driveway. That is already concrete all the way. It's not the colored concrete, it's rebarred concrete. Those are made to be driven on in and out, etc. So that's not included in the prohibition, but the prohibited area otherwise would be those areas between the curb and the sidewalk. Questions, comments?
I got a phone call. So what is the what's the consequence to this? Somebody called me and asked me.
We have, well,
how does that go about? Do you get a ticket and then you gotta go pay a fine, or what?
It's a ticket leading to a fine. The dollar amount, I don't remember. I'm going to say $62.50, including the cost, if I remember. Don't quote me on that number because I may be guessing wrong, but it's on the bond schedule as part of the normal parking enforcement.
Okay, I got it. And then the other question that I got from this individual was, so if they pull into their main approach, they still, if they park on that, they're still not, they can't block the sidewalk.
They cannot block the sidewalk. There's a separate.
So that's, because the approaches off the highway, a lot of the buildings are very close to the highway front.
Mm-hmm.
There's no room to get your vehicle in front of your building without, blocking the sidewalks.
Yeah, and if they are blocking the sidewalk, that would be a violation of a different.
Same ticket.
Yes.
And the only required sidewalk that we have is along the highway.
Correct.
So in the case of if you live on Lamro Street and you want to park where the old sidewalk was or is and is still concrete, that's not a sidewalk. We don't have required sidewalks.
If the sidewalk is there, though, you can't block it.
So if the sidewalk on both sides of the approach is taken out, then it's not a sidewalk.
Correct.
If it's not a sidewalk.
But if it's
yeah,
there.
If there's not a sidewalk there.
Good.
In other words, if the only sidewalk is in the driveway approach, you're right, that's not a sidewalk.
Good.
If the sidewalk
And then you
continues
can
on
park
beyond
there.
it, then it
Yeah.
is.
So how far is the wraparound at the intersection of the highway and Main Street?
It's to the backside of the radius, or wherever they went with their new construction, that's state owns that. That's their right of way. So you see on all the intersections where however far it wraps around, however far they went with their concrete, that's the state's.
But where they replaced existing private concrete, is that the state right away too?
So they just did that,
Okay.
just to tie into the project.
Well, I have a real issue with this. First off, I'm gonna need to recuse myself if we do this under old business, because I'm
No,
affected.
this is new business.
Okay,
New
well,
business.
then I won't have it,
You
I
won't.
won't have a vote in
You
anyway.
do on ordinance now, on financial,
Okay.
that was this one that was spelled out.
But
If it's a
but the
tie.
issue is still,
He doesn't have a vote.
I am at 201 Lamro Street, which had a private parking area paid for by the individual at the time, back in the 70s. My grandpa had 2 cars and only 1 parking area. So he concreted the parking area, a parking area from the sidewalk to the curb. And that's where he parked his second car all the time. The state came in and replaced that parking area, okay? My understanding is as long as I leave 3 feet for the sidewalk that's there, and then there's the retaining wall, that, I don't know that belongs in this ordinance or not. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Well,
Where is that adjacent, how does it say? Adjacent to, no vehicles shall be parked along or adjacent to or within the platted right-of-way for US Highway 18. Is that 30 feet or 20 feet? It must be 20 feet.
Yeah, I think it's 22.
That goes to the opening of my driveway. Is that state right-of-way then?
I would say, and I'm guessing
I'm
here,
asking, yeah.
because I'm not the engineer.
Yep,
Okay, you understand that. But we look on the plat and compare that to your property there, it's clear from the work that the state did there,
yep.
that the state right-of-way goes up to at least where your retaining wall is.
That was by my request, though, that the concrete that they tore out of my property, that they put back.
I think that's where the right-of-way is.
Okay, if that's the case, then
Now,
then so be it.
we could
Yeah.
ask the state to go over and give you a
Yep.
pin or a flag or something to show you where it is. I hesitate to say it because, like I say, I'm not the engineer.
Yeah, I know, because they tore all my concrete out and they put in new concrete,
Right.
okay? Which I thought was the right thing for them to do. If they tore mine out, they should replace it.
Sure.
And Doug agreed. But if that is state right-of-way, then so be it.
Do you have any of the red concrete in this area you're talking about?
Did they put that in red?
Pink, yeah,
Huh?
that pink ADA kind of,
Yeah, I know.
not along the highway, but in the wraparound to the backside of the radiuses.
I'm thinking that it's white, but I'm not sure.
The
I-
concrete is white.
Okay.
And then the ADA is always pink, and that was put in.
Well, that's what I call the boulevard, what
Yeah.
would have been grass
The
is
reason-
now pink.
Right, and the reason they did that is for the ADA compliance and the grants that they applied for. Either the grass would create that color barrier.
Yep.
Or the pink concrete did.
Yep.
And they had to put that in along the entire project to receive the funding.
So you
that they
wouldn't
did.
walk into the street.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
It's really tied to the federal funding they got, and they have to see.
But I'm not arguing that point. I'm asking how far around the corner can I not park? See? Because I park there all the time until I get the rest of that section done.
Let me make a suggestion for you. The
Parking the
ne-
neighbors.
the next time that our engineer or one of their flaggers, or what am I trying to say, surveyors, once one of them is here, let's have them take that plat out there and just,
I'm texting Jordan Nelson right now.
well,
I
there
was
you
gonna
go.
say, the state would probably provide that true definition for you at no.
I just need to know, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So what the state does is they're just like our streets, they've got right of way. And so from the center line of the highway so many feet this way, so many feet that way.
Right.
And they're, when they.
And that right of way is to my concrete wall that they replaced.
Well, it might, actually, it might be a little.
It might be clear up to the side of your house.
It might
No, because I had to take down part of my grandpa wasn't one for following the rules. He built a canopy for his motorhome to sit under, which overhung the state's right-of-way by 5 feet. I already had to cut that off. So the edge of my motorhome canopy is at the state right-of-way.
Well, there you go, you just defined it yourself.
So around
the
the corner,
radius
that's
is-
all I'm asking, around the corner then is not state right-of-way on Lamro Street.
It is where it ties into the city streets.
That's where I'm trying to find
But I
out.
don't know that distance where the state ceases and the city becomes as they wrap around those radiuses on the.
Well, I know where it is on Highway 18.
Yep.
But how much of Lamro do they have coming, what would be south?
If you take a look at a lot of those plans that they had, and that's truly for
Yeah.
Jordan or Jake to define, but every one of those plans.
Because they already came and drew a line, and that line is exactly where that retaining wall is. They are absolutely on that line that they marked for
Okay.
where I had to cut my
Yeah.
canopy off.
Yeah,
Said it wouldn't encroach on state right-of-way. If that's the case, then I just need to ask their engineers, the wraparound to Lamro Street, am I legal there or not?
That's what I'm asking him, is their practice, their construction practice is to go so many feet out, up into our streets and do the tie-in.
Okay.
But that's, I don't.
But that's still our street.
It's still our street.
Right, okay. That's not the state right-of-way where this talks about. Platted right-of-way for US Highway 18. That's all I'm trying to know.
yeah, and again, I would say I'll leave that to an engineer to tell us.
Okay.
If it's not in
Yeah,
the
because
state
if this is
right away,
new
then it's
business,
not
I
gonna be covered by
won't,
this.
I won't vote on that anyway, so. yeah.
Okay. Austin, your thoughts?
Yeah, like before, I just wanna follow what the state doesn't want us doing.
Okay,
Yep.
you take that to council?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that what's on Lamro going south, I don't think that's pink. But
Yeah, see, I don't know, I don't
I
remember.
park on it every night,
I
but,
don't know either.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Is it pink? Okay.
Yeah,
But
And then the 3 foot
but
next,
on the other side of the street, they just.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. They just came to the end of the radius.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
Get some clarification.
Yeah.
From the state
will.
or our engineer.
yeah, because I know that concrete was there since the 70s,
I think as long as you're not blocking the sidewalk, you're fine. I think you're,
as long as there's that 3 foot.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you had parking.
Because I have one tire in the curb on the pickup, and the other tire is on that parking area, yeah.
If you,
So-
if you're around the corner far enough, and they obviously tore your parking space out and redid it when they did it,
Yep,
then it's basically, I mean, it's in the city right away now.
correct.
yep,
So.
but this only applies to the boulevard that is on
Correct.
on the state highway, not on city street.
If it's in the state right of way, it applies. If it's not within the state right of way, it does not apply.
Doesn't apply, but I still can't impede the sidewalk,
Correct.
even though we don't have a sidewalk ordinance.
Correct.
Yeah, does that ordinance exist? Can you park on a city sidewalk?
No,
That ordinance does exist?
it does. As I recall, we
It
looked
does.
for it and I found it.
You don't have to replace the ordinance we passed, 5 years ago now?
Yep, because we weren't enforcing it on everybody.
Those laws still apply to the sidewalks that are there. You don't have to replace them, but the ordinances
If
still
you tear them
apply.
out, though, you no longer have a sidewalk.
Correct.
Right.
And you don't have to replace it. Otherwise. But you guys can talk about it on new business.
Unknown caller.
Yeah.
We'll wait for him. Actually, we can look at the next item, which is Resolution 2024-11, This is one that was discussed in the Streets Sanitation Committee, the fact that we have numerous businesses that we are picking up their cardboard. This proposal will not cover anywhere near all of our costs in doing that, but it's kind of like giving those folks that are a commercial operation an opportunity to participate in a little bit of our costs of this program. And this would just be a $5 per trip. If we make a trip out to Golden Prairie
Yep.
and pick up cardboard, they would get a bill on their utility bill at the end of the month for $5 for that
Yep.
trip.
I'm afraid that this will discourage people from recycling and will then add to our cost of hauling to Puckwana, because it is so much easier to put these cardboard boxes into the regular dumpster than to keep it separated in a dry, different place for the city to come pick it up. What do we pay per tonnage to haul our stuff to Puckwana? What do we pay Puckwana per ton? All of this recycled cardboard, or a vast majority of it, is gonna go right back into the dumpster that we have to pay for. And I'm concerned about not having that as a resolution.
Okay.
It saves the city money to drive one guy out in a pickup and put that cardboard in his pickup, and then we sell it to somebody else and not haul it and pay to Puckwana.
When Brad comes, or I'm sorry, when Troy comes back
Yep.
in,
My
I don't know what those numbers might be or
I want
wouldn't
him,
be,
yeah, he.
but when I started working at Golden Prairie, they had stopped recycling.
Dad,
Yep, and then when we found out that they were doing it for McDonald's, that the county was, okay, and that we were gonna continue that, then I encouraged Golden Prairie to participate in recycling, and they'll go right back to putting it in the dumpster.
But on the flip side of that, Brad.
Yeah.
I'm worried, my counter to that is, okay, so people start stuffing cardboard back into their totes or dumpsters, and they run out of space, and then they have to take another dumpster.
Yep.
So.
That's a possibility,
And at the
yep.
bare minimum, then you're looking at, I don't know what you have out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a tote dumpster,
We got two of those big barrels, two of those,
200 gallons,
3.
whatever they're called.
Yeah.
300 gallons. So what do those run a month?
They're $46 a month, I think.
So at a point where if a person doesn't take advantage of this discounted rate at $5 a week, it ends up being 20 a month.
Yep,
And then all of a sudden, because nobody's practicing that, doesn't want to, yes, it costs the city, but the city's got resolutions set up to,
sell them another tote.
and we have the ordinance. And so now you're looking at $46 because suddenly
Yep.
there's more trash going in there.
Don't
and-
disagree, Jody, yep, don't disagree.
So I mean, $20 versus 46, the logical thing is to participate in the scheduled
In the
run.
case of this one business, this one that I know something about,
Yeah,
okay, it's gonna cost the city. Because we don't generate enough cardboard, to fill up the current dumpsters that we have. Okay?
so I just did quick math, and if you have that person running around picking up all day, and I would hope the idea is eventually we have a route set up that includes
Yep, I
all
understand.
the businesses. You would pay almost $200 a week in wages and benefits to that person a day. That doesn't include the fuel, the wear and tear. There's still a cost. If you could give the commercial accounts a discounted break where we don't have to push them up, and it may not work for everybody, it may. $20.
I only know the one that I'm involved with. I don't know what McDonald's would be. You know, if they have way more cardboard than we do, I have no idea. I know what we have.
Right.
Okay?
But I don't know your your wages. I don't know how much time you or another person puts into breaking down that cardboard and even trying to stuff it into there.
Yep. But,
I
but
think this is
in
a
all
good
honesty,
start.
Jody, even with the system that we have out there now, if I wanted that cardboard to fit in our current dumpsters, I'd still have to break it down like I do now.
Your time
Yeah,
at that point.
I'll have the same time,
Okay.
okay? Whether I put it in the little 200-gallon tote, which is where we go, or if I put it in the great big tote, I'd still have to break those down to have them fit. Otherwise, the unbroken down boxes wouldn't fit in our existing 2 that we pay for. But my point is, the city is gonna pay for all that cardboard then to go to Puckwana, to be picked up and go to Puckwana, and that's the city's cost, okay? Rather than no charge to go to Puckwana and the city gets to sell it. Yes, the city has a cost in picking it up, I agree. But that's what we have to determine.
The tonnage to dump is $51.50 a ton.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're paying to haul, how much per ton on that contract, but how many businesses are participating in this right now? Best guess. And I don't know that it works for
It's around 20.
everybody. Huh?
It's around 20.
Wow,
I mean, we
I
could
didn't
get-
know that.
We could get more. We were doing McDonald's, and then McDonald's changed management or manager or something. And since that time, McDonald's hasn't called us to pick anything up, so.
Well,
So they're throwing all theirs
we'll
right into
probably
Puckwana.
we'll probably refrain from talking about it, an identified business anymore,
okay.
just conceptually,
Yeah.
let's just talk about
But-
the program. You and
Did
I
we-
had a
Yeah,
discussion yesterday.
But did we ever send anything out? I mean, like,
No, I don't think we have.
I didn't
because
even know we were doing this till 2 weeks ago, and I have a ton of cardboard in the summer at a commercial account.
Would you, I mean, this doesn't work for one business that's been identified. Does this at $5 make sense to yours as a proposed?
I mean, to me, it's only $5.
Yeah.
If we recycle, but in my situation, if I had a recycle bin here and a garbage dumpster here and it fit in my garbage dumpster, I'd save $5. That's what I would do. You know, and, I mean, if you look at the huge picture and you realize that it costs us to haul it, but the people that say, I don't care that it costs the city to haul it, I don't. I'm just worried about myself. And I got 2 lids to lift. I'm gonna throw it in the free lid. I mean, that's me.
So here, this thing has changed, so there's a lot of different dynamics to it, so, and I agree 100% with what you're saying. I don't wanna discourage people from recycling cardboard because it's going to cost us more hauls to puck.
Yep,
And whether the tonnage is there or not, it still costs us every time we run that trailer down the road.
Yep.
Some of the stuff that's changed though. When we purchased this building from the county, there was an agreement that we would.
continue recycling, yep.
So all we did is just kind of mirrored what they were doing. And they had they had an individual that was hired and he just kind of had a route and he did cardboard pickup. They coordinated that through the county office. So we kind of mirrored that practice and that's what we've been doing. No charge, no nothing, just go around, get the cardboard. Since we took it over, it was brought up several times in sanitation committee that the committee members, thought we should maybe be doing a little bit of a fee for the cardboard pickup. I think Jeremy and I can't remember which, it doesn't matter, council members were on that committee, but they said, well, let's send out a letter to like the entities that we think would participate in the program. That didn't get done. We did go around and talk to some of those people, and the same conversation was had. If you guys come and do it, yeah. If we have to pay for it, we'll just throw it in the garbage. But then bring a couple months down the road, and I've had a couple of inquiries from bigger businesses that aren't in the city, they're in the county. So now that changed the dynamics of the last sanitation meeting that we had, because then the council members in that meeting said, well, you know, so then the decision becomes, are we taking care of the, you know, are we taking care of the city? Are we taking care of the county? And then, are we taking care of other counties? Well, obviously, we're not gonna run up to Greater County to get cardboard.
Right.
But they bring trailers to us, and we take in those recycling. But we do have some bigger companies within the county, just outside the city's limits, that can generate quite a bit of cardboard. And
Bales.
now it becomes, you know, once a week, we're going out there and we're picking up a pretty large quantity of cardboard. And
Outside of city customers.
what do we do with that cardboard?
Yeah.
Because cardboard is worth 2 cents a pound. So if I send a trailer load of just cardboard to Sioux Falls,
We
we're
lose.
probably gonna owe them money.
We lose money.
See what I'm saying? So, and that's totally up to you guys. If we want to absorb that cost or whatever you guys decide you want to do, I just want you to understand everything that's happening. So number one, are we going to continue to take care of the city and Tripp County? Because I think when we took the building over, that was the agreement, that was kind of the,
Now, I will just clarify one thing. It was to continue operating the recycling program. I don't think anybody, as far as myself, the mayor, the finance officer, the ones that attended the meeting with the county commissioners, I don't think there was ever a discussion about us being involved in hauling cardboard as part of that agreement. We just agreed we were gonna maintain and continue the program itself. Make sure that the building was open so that people could recycle.
okay. So, we're, you know, history's the past, we move forward from here. What do we want to do?
If it costs us to take a load, if we don't even break even, then why would we even recycle cardboard?
Well, that's the cost you have to figure out. If it costs us so much money to go to Sioux Falls versus how much it's gonna cost us every time we go.
We have to pay to take it to Puckwana too.
You don't know, and you can't know those numbers until you have a history. And right now, I don't have enough history to give you a solid
Right.
answer on what that's going to cost us.
As you've been operating it lately, though, you take,
Operating as a
you take
profit.
part, and you take part of a load of cardboard, part of the load is other stuff that helps to offset
Yeah,
that.
we have to mix in aluminum, or we have to mix in number 2 plastics, because they're actually worth something.
They're worth
Paper
something.
Or newspaper. Those 3 things are actually worth something. So we put so many bales of those in a load, so we know we're gonna get X amount of dollars out of those. That pays for our trucking, the $550 to truck it there. And then it also, you know, it gives us a little bit something coming back. I think we've been averaging about a load every 2 months. It's about every month and a half. It's about what we've been averaging. We've probably averaged about $1,800 a load profit, you know. I
Net profit.
don't confuse profit and recycling with.
Yep.
Because it costs us a lot more
Right.
in labor and time and all that stuff. We're not making money on recycle, but at least we are getting something back.
Yeah.
So we're on the, you know,
Yeah.
we're not going any further backwards.
And whatever our cost is at Puckwana, the cardboard that doesn't go to Puckwana doesn't cost us at Puckwana.
Correct.
So it's hard to say,
Yeah.
it's without a history and really be able to break this thing down, you know, like how much cardboard we're bringing in. If we bump up this cardboard recycling effort, is that gonna, you know, is that going to bring us another 3 or 4 bales a load? And then that's 3 or 4 bales of profitable product that we can't get on the trailer, and then, or, you know, how does that
Yeah.
balance out? Now, are we making $900 a load versus $1,800 a load? or-
Did you say 2 cents a pound on the cardboard? That's $40 that you make for a ton, a bale, versus $51.50 plus the trucking you deposit.
To put it in Puckwana.
You save about $11.50 a
Oh, the
ton.
only way you totally know the recycling is just the recycling end of it, what goes to Sioux Falls or wherever after 1 year. This is what it cost you, and this is what they wrote us checks for. Because
And
some
that's
loads
the other-
might be
that's
big
the other
profit,
unknown
some
with
loads are
recycling
less.
is you don't know what those products are gonna be worth. You know, a year from now, somebody might come up with some great, you know, they're gonna make some kind
Pallet
of cardboard that, you know, that everybody needs, and all of a sudden cardboard's worth $1 a pound, you know, and whoa, hey, we're making a killing on cardboard, you don't know that stuff.
No, I
but,
understand.
You know, look, the fluctuation in aluminum, when we took that facility over, we were selling aluminum for 80 cents a pound, and now we're getting 40 cents a pound for it. It's just, you know, it's just a very fluctuating market, so. But then there's the other part of recycling, is you don't do it to make money, you do it because it's the right thing to do.
As part of the grant that we were awarded, we were looking at the trailers. Have we ordered we have ordered those?
Oh, no, we haven't got, Shander's got a number last week. They finally sent us a letter with a contact number of an individual here to call and get the details on the grant, on the specifications of that grant. So I can't answer for her whether she's made that phone call or not.
Sure.
But, yeah, all the products that we were, you know, the truck for hauling and puck, the recycle trailers, they were all Sourcewell quotes, so as soon as we get that information, we can put the orders in for those.
And where will the recycled trailers be placed at in town?
That's,
To be determined. I mean, speculative, we talked about Bailey's Complex.
if we could get permission from county fair, that would be, because you're going to get your groceries, throw your cardboard in, or your recyclable materials, you're going to get your groceries, you go stop at the trailer, you throw it in the trailer, you get your groceries. So that would, to me, that would be a logical place. If we could get permission from Runnings, that would be a logical place. Bailey's Complex for that part over there,
Yeah.
that part of town, and then, I don't know, someplace down around First Street, or maybe Fire Hall. You know, maybe down by the North Shop, I don't know. That's
I don't know.
a conversation to be had with everybody, I think.
It's flammable. Don't do the fire hall.
Best place to have it.
Bales.
You know that old washout where you used to get water for, if you were in rural? Maybe that'd be a good spot, right by the county, or right by the city shop, where you used to fill your truck with water to take out to the country.
Bulk water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe superfoods would be another, I mean, I like the idea of, it just makes sense to
High
me.
traffic.
It just makes sense to me is the women that are the, you know, the people that want to participate in recycling are going to be, you know, it's going to be their thought process is, well, I'm going to go get groceries, I'll throw my recyclables in, I'll do all that while I'm getting my groceries. I don't know if it makes sense to me, but.
Yeah.
We've digressed a little bit, but I think the city efforts is about, you're looking at $500 or $200, maybe $300 a week. This route will cost us somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 just in man-hour, wear and tear, and fuel to pick up the cardboard. I don't think you even at $5 a week are gonna come close to recovering a little bit of that cost. It's something you'll have to weigh, and this would be new business also. All of this will be new business, and it's
Yep.
open to discussion.
And that's the way you get it into discussion with the council, is put something in front of council to start a motion on. You can always table or vote it down or whatever, but at least it gives the council the ability to have a full discussion.
I'd say just send it to council and let them talk about it.
Okay. Next resolution, you'll recall that we were visited by, we had a visit, I should say, with the hospital folks after we had contacted them about the multiplier situation on their meter for the new part of the facility. This is what came out of there. They were not the ones defining this. This actually came out from the committee itself, recommending that we offer them an opportunity to stair-step it and basically work into it by the end of the year. So that's exactly what this does. It applies a multiplier of 100, which is where it's at now, for the month of June billing, and then add 25 every month to get us up to the 250, which is where it belongs. Well, that happens to get there right in December. So that's what this would do.
Were they comfortable with this?
They were.
They approved the schedule?
Yeah,
Okay.
we didn't talk, well, actually, we talked exactly those numbers in the committee, and while those folks were sitting here. They were very, very happy with that. It's like he said, this is a huge financial change in the middle of a budget time. And they were just looking for anything that the city could do to help ease the pain, so to speak, and they were very, very comfortable with this one.
So we're gonna go the first of the month for all year long and change this?
Each month.
Is that
it's
how I'm
gonna go
reading
up
It's just done
each
in the
month.
billing. They apply the multiplier there, right, in the
No.
billing?
This is in person, you change the multiplier, don't you?
So what happened was, on the hospital, in the instance of the hospitals, when they finished, the hospital has 3 meters.
Yeah.
They have the new addition, they have, the main hospital, and they have their
Nurse.
long-term care facility. When they finished the new addition of the hospital, whatever that was, 2018 or 19 or whatever,
Yeah.
a meter was installed on that, it's right there, right out there by the transformer. So they did not get the multiplier in there right, and then they didn't get the demand in there right. So for the last, how many years?
5 years
they've
plus.
not been getting charged according to the way everyone else in town is getting charged. Now, when we went around and we did meters throughout the whole town, using our Landis and Gear meters, we caught a couple of accounts that were not, the multiplier was also not correct. So, and we've contacted each one of those accounts and let them know that. Well, and I think the longest one that went, I think it was one of the banks or something that went like 6 or 8 months.
Yeah, it wasn't very
Where
long.
the multiplier wasn't in there right, but we identified it and we corrected it with this new meter change out. So we also did an audit of all of our accounts, and they're all correct. We made sure that the multiplier is correct and the demand is correct on those accounts. So we audited all of our electric.
Can the multiplier be changed from the office, or does it have to be done?
It's done in the programming of the meter.
So somebody-
So we have to send a guy out there once a month, every month this year?
No, once it's in there, it's in there.
But according,
But to get these new numbers that are on here,
We're stepping up every
has to be
month.
set every month.
They'll adjust the numbers in the.
That's what I thought.
In the
Yeah.
office.
In the finance office?
Yeah, they'll just figure it out. I mean, you can just take their, so you know what their, how many kilowatts they use, or how many, and you just take that number, and then you take it times, there's a formula for it.
Okay.
So they'll just step it up, 25 at each time, until they get to 250. So they'll make that adjustment in the office, but the meter's been changed, the multiplier's been put in the meter correctly. They'll just bill it out according to what they agree with in the committee meeting.
okay.
Okay?
Sounds like it's going to full council.
Yeah.
All right.
New business.
Next item, you'll see a map here along with a quitclaim. Well, no, I guess I didn't write it. This particular gentleman that owns this little piece of property, Mr. Lewis, contacted me, it's been a few months ago now, wrote a letter, and basically said, I've been paying taxes on this little tiny piece of land that's not usable for anything. You've got a electric utility easement through the middle of it, and the city mows it, has mowed it for years, and the city always showed some interest in case they wanted to develop from Plum Street there over into the area by Juniper Street. And I conferred with Troy. He goes, yeah, we mow it, and yeah. So I just brought this map here, so Mr. Lewis is willing to give this to the city. His only stipulation is he's done paying taxes. It's about 20, and I forget the number, it's not much, 15 or 20 bucks a year or every 6 months for the taxes on that. We'll have to pick up this year's tax, and then after that, we can ask the county to transfer it over into a tax exempt because it'd be owned by the city at that point, so.
And the do we know the square footage of that lot?
I don't know the square footage.
Okay.
All I can tell you is that it is approximately 68 feet north to south, okay?
Is
Okay.
it big enough
You
for a
can
street?
you can see at the bottom of the circle there in red, that
That little
that
distance
triangled
is
off
38?
or parcel there is 38.98 feet.
Okay,
So you're probably in the range of 65 feet square, give or take.
But with the utilities and stuff, could we ever put a street through there?
I don't know.
Did we ever what?
Put a street through there the way the utilities are?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're all very, I mean,
who owns B1 on this, do we know? Is that city property?
That is owned by, as I recall, McDonald's.
Okay. So that's private property, B1
It
is?
is.
Okay.
It is, yep. My impression was, and I, don't hold me to this, but my impression was that the city would be able to develop either partly through B1 and maybe partly through the southern end of Lot E. There's room there, either direction.
Well, also privately owned.
Also privately owned.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep,
So that'd be a matter of requiring that.
yep,
Yep.
yep.
So the question is, are we okay asking council to authorize us to receive that? If we are, my intention would be to have him, I will send him a deed for he and his wife to sign.
Reversionary just means he's giving
No,
it
no,
back
no,
to
no, no,
us?
that deed there, I'm sorry, Brad, that
Okay.
deed has nothing to do with this deal. That deed
Oh.
there, we'll look at that in a minute.
Oh, this is not part of this?
It's not. I had-
Sorry, okay.
I had intended to bring the deed from
Okay.
Lewis to the city. I failed to do that. but
Okay.
It's just a typical quitclaim deed that would be signed by Richard and his wife in favor of the city. And then we would, at that point in time, go to full council for permission to record that
Okay.
deed and accept it.
And that's what we're dealing with right now, whether or
It
not
is.
to put that deed, which is not before us,
Correct.
on Monday night's meeting.
We will not put it on Monday night.
Oh, not this week,
I'll
okay.
wait until he gets that signed deed back to us.
Very good, okay.
I just didn't want to send it to him if the committee did not authorize it. That's
I'm
all.
good with it as long as it's big enough and according to our utilities, we can put a street through there.
Yeah. And because of that utilities, we've been mowing it for as many years as we were aware of, so.
well, we mow all that. That drainage ditch through there, we
Yeah.
maintain that around the welcome to winter sign, which is, we have permission to put the welcome to winter sign, that's private property, so we maintain it for.
That's on private property as well?
Yeah, for
Okay.
that purpose, we maintain that.
Okay. And is that owned by the same guy that has the car wash?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's nice of him to give us a land for that sign. Yep.
Last thing, now you can look at that deed. I was just preparing in anticipation of when the city starts getting ready to put out, if you try to sell any of the development lots. We wanted to be able to make a provision that says, A, get it developed so that you start construction within the first year, and B, you're done before the end of the second year.
More important, the plan has to go through the planning commission within 6 months.
Correct.
I love it.
The plan of
That was-
if we put these lots up for sale, the purchaser has to agree to this. That's
He does.
what you're saying here?
He-
Okay.
He does. And there's even a place on here,
And that's what the reversionary is, it comes back to us if they
Correct.
don't do it?
exactly right,
Okay.
exactly right. And what it says here at the beginning, in the event that the grantee, the person buying it, fails to meet any of these requirements, the property shall revert back to the grantor municipality upon the filing of our claim of reversion, following the expiration of the 2 years.
Will that have a negative impact on the number of bidders that we may have on some of these properties?
You'll have
You-
serious ones.
You'll get rid of the ones that are tire kickers.
Yeah, you get
okay.
rid of the ones that are gonna just buy the property and sit on it. The whole purpose of the city wanting to sell these things out is to get them
Is to get them
developed.
developed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get them back on the tax roll with a developed property. In 2 years is plenty of time, that's what I've been told.
Okay.
Plenty of time. Anybody that's a serious developer, they'll probably have most of it done within the first year.
Yeah.
And more importantly, we don't have the expense to take care of it.
I agree 100%,
That's
yep.
right.
Careful, because now there's all kinds of free time and you gotta get more stuff done in other areas. No free time. Yeah, hey, did you hear that?
I hear, yeah.
More time to go pick up more cardboard.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me get back in.
But yeah, the other thing is that, like I say, on the third page, you actually have a place where the buyer is going to accept this reversionary
Okay,
provision.
of the half year to get started and then the
Correct.
2
Yep.
years to finish, yep.
Yep.
I'm thinking of Jeff Schramm's house. When they built Jeff Schramm's house, wasn't that a 3 or 4 year deal?
I don't know.
If
I
we-
know there was a house on East 11th that took 3 years.
Yeah, yeah, and Tony Berg's house took a long time too. Those two went at it, whose house took longer to build, you know, but I told them if they wouldn't build such extravagant houses, it wouldn't take so long. Build a box.
If somebody's going to build as a part of a investment,
Yep,
they're going to want to get her done.
yep.
But it also, it doesn't say finished, it says substantially.
Yes,
That's
correct,
most.
correct. And that terminology has meaning in the construction trade.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering,
If you
how
get your
difficult
shell
will
up-
it be when the guy comes and says, you know, we've had some bad luck? The weather didn't cooperate this 6 months, we didn't get anything done. Can we extend this?
Certainly.
Are things like this,
This
this
is-
reversionary contract?
It starts out from the beginning as an agreed upon deal.
Yeah.
That's why he signs on page 3.
Okay.
So it's like a contractual agreement.
Yep, so
Any
could be,
contractual agreement can be modified as long as everybody agrees and
everybody-
and puts it in
Mr.
writing.
Jensen, you've got a note at the bottom of your agenda here.
Oh, thank you.
Planning Commission, is
Thank
this
you.
gonna be handled by the Planning Commission, the plans and code enforcement and the planning and zoning
Well,
director?
yeah, and what I wanted to know is, do you want it to have a plan, I've got the planning commission in here as the one entity where the plans are
they should send it
approved.
to us with yes or no on each one of these.
Correct, and if there's any kind of a
think, don't
plan, a deviation from the plan, code enforcement always makes arrangements with
Right.
people when they have new
Yep,
agendas.
yep,
Planning and zoning should actually take this off your plate to focus, but if there is a new plan that's coming forward, that's agreed upon in planning and zoning, then it needs approval from the council.
Yeah,
Gives you a chance to come in and talk to the public, this one is
as long as
going
there's some
past.
kind of modification that we can legally make,
There is.
I think
in
it's
the
straight
event,
through there,
you know.
yes.
You
Yeah.
start from the
they're
standpoint.
damn
that
near
it's an
done, the
agreement.
tornado comes through and
Yep,
Yeah.
now I gotta start over.
oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so, I mean, reasonable sense
Right.
has to take place
But I
too,
do
so.
think that you leave that in planning and zoning to,
Yeah.
and if they reach an agreement, it's gotta be ratified by your council.
Yep.
So it would force, as director, him to come with any altered plans or
Yep.
amended plans
I agree, Mr. Mayor, yep.
to council for change. I love it. Put it back there.
Because we need to get rid of, if we own 25 properties, we need to get rid of 24 of them.
There's some
We have a lot
properties that
more than
can't
that.
be built on.
I understand that.
Here's the reality, you're gonna see, there are some properties that just simply can't be built on due to water easements or sewer mains going through it that will make it very challenging
yeah.
to build on.
But in that
That'll take
situation, maybe the
communication
neighbor
there.
wants to buy the lot and just mow it. You know, put a swing set up.
Well, that doesn't include, this has got a plan to build.
Yeah,
You're gonna build a swing
the
set.
non-buildable lots.
Yeah,
you know, if the neighbor wants to have a third again backyard or side yard or something, why not let them water and mow it, you know?
What if,
It's not buildable.
What if somebody wants to, I mean, this will all be up to planning and zoning, but I mean, the possibilities, we own quite a few properties over on the north side of town. It's a floodplain. There's a lot of utilities out there, a couple of main sewer, you know, storm sewer. Our sanitary sewer goes through some of those lots. It'd be a challenge to put a, you know, like a permanent home or something like that, but what if somebody, because I know I've been asked about it, is to get those properties and put in like, volleyball courts. Or another, you know,
And that's where you have your planning commission come in with the idea that says, somebody tells me this property really can't be built on, but we're going to do something else. Well, planning commission can either certify that that's true, or they can say, oh, well, there's plenty of room here to build. So they can make that judgment call, but boy,
and a lot of those properties, you could put a, you know, if somebody wants to buy them to put up a storage shed,
right.
you know, something of that nature, a shop.
Yeah, if it's not suitable for building a full house, but if it is suitable for building a small shop or garage.
I don't think there's a lot that we own that we cannot get utilities to them. I mean,
I think that's true.
they're all
yeah.
there, they're all,
If it's-
utilities are.
If it's not a commercial lot though, you can't build a shed without a house, can you?
That is
Well,
correct, unless it's
We've
adjoining.
got that provision. We have built a couple of
Depends
those
on who you are.
properties.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not anymore, it doesn't.
Attaboy.
I do have one thing, if you're done, I had a call late yesterday.
You got 2 minutes, go ahead.
I had a request from the Rod and Gun Club. They are asking for a little more property to amend their current lease they have from us to include a little more property to the north of the shotgun trap range. They would like to put in a competition archery range.
Isn't that privately owned now?
It's ours,
It's ours.
yeah, and it's part of our.
Most of
ground
it,
lease
yeah.
that we currently lease out, that we bid out every year, the hay ground.
Yep,
It's that little triangle piece back there where, I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, we allowed Rosebud Concrete to,
Yeah,
while they were cleaning up their lot in preparation.
They put
for their
stuff on there.
scale and their, we let them put some stuff back there.
and now that's all been
It's all
moved.
been removed, yeah.
Yep,
the only question I've got is, it was my impression that right up, not that far from the berm, we're still concerned about the flow of the drainage. And that's my only question is, do we run into anything with the drainage issue?
They don't wanna change the land any, they just want to add some, they just want the property to set up targets, and have, you know, access to that property, because right now it's city ground, and every year we bid it out to the hay, you know, it goes as that hay ground that's out there around the
Every
lift
3
station.
years.
Yeah,
Is it 3
It
years
is
or
low
2
ground,
years?
and it is subject to flooding, because a lot of times they don't get the hay off that because it floods, but
right.
they're just asking for more property to put up a bigger archery range, and they're gonna put some targets, you know, further than what he said a competition archery range, I don't know what that, but so I'm asking if you guys are, if you entertained bringing that to any more discussion, or if the answer is no.
Wouldn't it make sense to, well, I mean, if it's worth discussing, have them come, let's get the map out and really show what it is they're talking about.
I'm fine with it, but we can't change it till the hay lease is rebid.
I think they all go up for bid this year.
Do they? Yeah.
I think so.
I believe that's right.
This fall?
I don't even
I
think we got it this
think
year.
we need to be going.
but
to
if
bid
we're
in the
gonna
next
give
couple
them
months.
access to that land, that
For
needs to be
2024?
known to the bidder,
For 2024.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, if we're gonna give free access to that
Whoever's got the
land,
lease on that
that
right
needs to be
now.
known to the bidder
It
of
would
the
have
hay
to be known
land
for the next bidder.
Well, you take it out.
I
of the
think
before
lease.
they bid.
I think you wouldn't bid it.
You would take it out. Take
Well,
it out of the
I
lease.
understand, but
Yeah,
all
they're
I'm
asking-
saying
they're-
is,
They're
yeah,
asking for this to be an amendment, they're asking for permanent use of this, so whatever they're, I know they asked council here not too long ago to extend them out another
99 years.
Yeah, whatever, so I
We
don't,
did
I
not.
think they have 50 or 59 years or.
75.
75 years left on their current one, so they would like this.
And they wanted to move that to
No,
another.
They just wanna make sure that if we give them this, X amount of square feet of property, they want that to be included in that
Yeah.
75 years that they have left on their current lease.
So what if somebody
contract.
else wanted to buy that property?
We could sell for 75 years,
Yeah,
but,
I will
they're
tell
not,
you.
it's not like, they're not asking for 20 acres, they're asking for like
I understand, yep.
half an
Because-
acre.
I'm just asking the
With
question.
the- Yeah, and with the circumstances where the city owns the property,
Yep.
and we actually have our gun range there in addition to theirs,
Yep,
we could certainly, legally, we could look at extending the amount of property included without having to do any kind of bidding or anything like that.
Yep.
Because we're not selling it, we're not giving it away, we're just adding it a little more to the lease.
And they called us
So that would be
too,
possible.
and we were completely fine with it too. I had them call you, because I knew that was Hayland. So I had them call Troy. We were 100% fine with it. The gun club does wonderful things to help the police department out at that range as well. It's a very good relationship that we have with them. We were fine with it on our end. I wanted them to get with Troy to make sure he was good.
Sure.
I didn't know how it would affect him, but
I just think the committee needs to be able to look on the map and see where it is that
Yeah.
Yeah.
they want to
I
add
just
to.
wanted to know if it was even open for discussion.
Yeah.
He called me yesterday afternoon late, and I said, best I can do is just.
Who's
just
their
bring it to
contact?
Ordinance and say,
probably John Harder.
no, it was Austin.
Austin Whedon,
Austin, somebody remember?
Whedon.
No,
I'm fine talking about it, but we'll have to, I'd like to look at the map, aerial map, and I'd like to see when the leases are up.
Sure,
Because I don't wanna amend a lease or go ask permission for any,
the hanging lease, yeah.
just,
Yeah, we'll find out. I think you're right. I think this is the third year of the lease as I recall, so they still are entitled to hay it this year.
They are.
okay.
And we
But I
could-
do
we
believe
could
you
amend it
bid-
for next year.
You might be right, Austin. It might be this fall for 2025.
I thought we
26,
did them in like
27.
September, but that's when most land
Yeah,
leases
we'll,
are.
we'll find out when those leases run out and,
My only comment to that is, if you guys want to go forward from that, from a public works standpoint, I think you'd be very, very clear and upfront with them right away, that we'll give you this, give you this X amount of square feet of ground, but the city doesn't want to, we don't want to get involved in improving it
Yeah.
for their cause.
right.
Because I told him yesterday, that is a flood ground back there.
Yeah.
And I actually drove back there yesterday, just because after we had that conversation, I wanted to make sure that, everything was off that piece of property, and that it was growing grass again and stuff, because that was part of our agreement with Rosebud, was to make sure that got put back to the
Yep.
condition it was in when we let them put stuff out there. So I drove back there, and I couldn't get.
is it acceptable to you?
I couldn't get around, yes, it is.
Okay.
But I couldn't get around the berm because it was so soft yet.
Yeah,
So they, and they know that,
yeah.
so,
Yep.
but I think that would be my input to that.
I would say-
Make sure that they know right up front, we're
Yep.
not gonna haul 100 loads of anything back there so they can, if they want it, that's fine, but you're gonna have to deal with the conditions that it's in. We're not going to put any money in.
Wear your galoshes.
I think it'd be safe to say nobody's gonna mess with the layout down there, them or us,
The way that drains
leave it the way
is,
it is.
Well, it makes sense. You don't want to mess any more with your natural drainage back there.
That gets you, yeah.
That's a big area for drainage
and
and,
that point is proven again a week ago when, I had several calls after that big rain, and I met with an individual, and, we were backed up, clear up to our lift station, and given it enough time, it does drain out. The drainage works. Everything was dried up by 2 days after that big storm, and all the water was out of there. So the drainage back there, it works, and we don't want to mess with that.
Yep.
yep.
I've gotta go, sorry guys, but I gotta go.
See ya.
T. Austin.
See.
You got all your skid loader somewhere?
I'm gonna go. Justin, you got it?
Thank you, everybody.